All right. Hello and welcome to Virtual Donate Life Day at the Zoo. We're so glad to have you all here celebrating West Michigan's donation and transplantation community virtually with us today. I'm Allison Gillum, the West Michigan Community Relations Coordinator for Gift of Life Michigan, and I'm joined by everybody's favorite podcast host and living kidney donor, Mr. Eric Zane. Eric, thank you so much for hosting with me today. How the heck are you?
Hi, Allison. I'm very well. Thank you so much for having me. It's great to be here. As some of you may know, I donated a kidney last year to a classmate that I hadn't seen in years. It's a great story. I'm happy to report that we're both doing very well. I'm happy to host this event with you all and have people enjoy this with you today to celebrate such a great cause.
Indeed. That is so awesome. You know, I have a very special place in my heart for living donors. I just really admire your selflessness and how you never hesitated once to give your kidney to help a friend in need. You're pretty cool in my book, Eric.
Thank you. I appreciate that. It was such a great experience. I would do it again if I could. Yeah, so there you go. And, and in fact, I want to get into the reason that we're here today. We're here to honor and celebrate West Michigan donors, transplant recipients, and the professionals who help make it all happen. You all are the real MVPs.
That's right. We would have loved to have you all here in person this year, of course. But out of respect for everybody's safety, we thought it would be best to hold off for one more year. Fingers crossed. We do have a lot of fun stuff planned for you today that we really hope you'll enjoy. So, Eric, do you want to kind of quickly go over what everybody can expect from today's event?
Sure, I'd be happy to. We're going on 2 safaris, which are going to be fantastic. Up close and personal with the tigers, and later spend time with the penguins at the aquarium. Personal favorite for me, and the otters. That's my personal favorite. I'm looking forward to that. We have some great stories from the West Michigan donation and transplantation community to share with you, and we'll end with the Wildlife Challenge and Celebration of Life Trail Slide show. So you want to stay tuned all the way through because we have a lot of cool zoo and Gift of Life gear to give away as well.
Yes, we do. We'll be doing giveaways throughout the event today. So all you have to do is, when we ask you a question, type the answer in the chat box along the right side of your screen. It's really that easy. We also have some great prizes for the top finishers in the Wildlife Challenge, which includes a guided tour of John Ball Zoo for 4, one of 3 $50 John Ball Zoo gift cards. Pretty cool. So to compete in the Wildlife Challenge, though, you'll need a separate device from the one you're using to watch the program today, and you'll want to download the Kahoot app to a separate phone or an iPad or tablet. Before we get into the event, though, we want to share a special message from Gift of Life CEO Dory Dills. Dory?
Dills, CEO of Gift of Life Michigan. Welcome to Donate Life Day at the Zoo. I'm so glad to be joining you today as we celebrate the incredible donation and transplantation community here in West Michigan. Hope you can enjoy the behind-the-scenes look at the John Ball Zoo in Grand Rapids, and I hope you are as inspired as I always am by the stories you will hear today. Like last year, 2021 has been a bit of a challenge. We were hoping to host an in-person event this year, but due to the ongoing safety concerns, we thought this format was the best option for our staff, our volunteers, donor families, and of course, transplant recipients. We remain committed to the health and safety of the communities we serve. We're so grateful for West Michigan's continued support of our mission to honor life through donation. Thank you to the donors and donor families who make the Gifts of Life, Sight, and Mobility possible. We greatly appreciate your sacrifice to help others. Your kindness and generosity allows those miracles to happen. Thank you to the many professionals who work so tirelessly to save and improve lives and honor the legacy of these donor heroes. To our dedicated staff and volunteers, thank you for helping us share the life-saving message of donation here in West Michigan and throughout the state. We've put together a fun virtual experience for you today, and we hope you enjoy it. We look forward to celebrating with you in person at the zoo next year.
Thank you, Dory. So up next, we're going to give you some time before the Tiger Safari to visit with our community partners in Community Cove. I encourage you to stop by each table so you can learn more about these great organizations and the services that they provide to our community. And as an added bonus, each table is going to have the answer to a wildlife challenge question. So each table can accommodate up to 15 people. If you get to a table and it's full, feel free to visit another one and check back. When you get to your table, all you have to do to sit down is click join, and you'll be seated with the others already at the table. You will have the option to have your camera and microphone on to talk with the table host and others, or you can choose to have the camera and mic off, and you can just communicate via chat, whatever works for you. But before we do that, though, Eric, what do you think? Should we do our first giveaway?
Absolutely. I think it's time to do that right now. Okay, so let's do it, and let's start by giving away this John Ball Zoo tumbler cup. There you go. Check it out right there.
All right. So this
is a pause.
This is a pause in the show. This is our John Ball Zoo tumbler cup. We have several of these to give away. We're also going to load this thing down with some cool Gift of Life swag. It's really cool. I don't know if you can see, it's got animals on it.
Yep.
John Ball Zoo.
Perfect to put Truly into, or whatever.
Or your bubbly,
or your White Claw.
Your
what are they called? White
water.
Claws, Red Claws? My wife drinks it.
I don't know.
Anyway, back to, okay, I'm going to ask you a question, and then you'll have a moment to type the answer in the chat box along the right side of the screen. And then we'll be monitoring the chat behind the scenes, and we'll randomly pick 2 winners. Be sure to keep an eye on the chat because the winners will be announced there, Allison.
Okie doke. So we will contact all winners next week to confirm where to send your prize. All right, let's go.
All right, here we go. Question. How many Michigan residents are on the waiting list for a life-saving organ transplant? Is it A, 1,000, B, 10,000, C, 5,000, or D, 2,000? Again, how many Michigan residents are on the waiting list for a life-saving organ transplant? A, 1,000, B, 10,000, C, 5,000, D, 2,000. All right. So there you go. All right, we're going to give you the next question, 20 minutes, or what am I doing there? All right, we're going to give you the next 20 minutes to visit our community partners. All right, we're going to give you the next 20 minutes.
We're actually going to give you a few minutes to answer the question in the
was
chat.
Totally wrecking that.
You go over to the chat right now. It's all good. This is live. This is how these things work, right?
Yes.
So go over to the chat, type in the answer. I'm going to check with Jen. Do we have any winners yet? Is anybody playing along? We have 2. Yep, we've got 2 of these to give away.
All right. Getting people right now.
Okay, well, one answer. Okay, Steffo and Cheryl Ann Liggett, you are the lucky winners. We'll get in touch with you to get you your cups and some other fun stuff. So, again, that's how it's going to work today, every time we do this.
All right.
So, back to you, Eric.
Yes, we're giving you the next 20 minutes to visit with our community partners. Don't forget, they have the answers to the Wildlife Challenge, which will come in very, very handy later, Allison.
Sounds good, Eric. So I'm going to go over to the Tigers exhibit to meet up with our tour guides. We'll get started with the Tiger Safari at 11 a.m. You do not want to miss it. It's going to be really cool. See you guys soon.
All right. Hi, everyone.
Hey, everybody.
Thank you so much for bearing with us. My name is Megan, and
You know me. I'm Allison.
of course,
Thank you for being so patient. We're so sorry for the technical difficulties. Over here.
we're here. We're in the Tiger Building. We are so excited to get to hang out with you today. We've got some really exciting things to see. We are here with Keeper Stacy. Hi, Keeper Stacy.
Hello, everybody.
So Keeper Stacy has been taking care of the tigers for some time now. So Stacy, can you tell us where we are?
Sure. So we call this our tiger kitchen. So this is where we prep all the diets for our tigers. It's actually what I was doing while I was waiting for you guys to get situated. We pull out about 25 pounds of meat total per day. And this is what we feed out to our tigers daily. So if you look right here, here's our diet board, but it also is the board to let us know who's who and some of the facts that we like to know about our tigers. So we have Maybelle. The number after their name is basically what we call their identification number. So it helps us make sure we know which individual is in what zoo. It's how we keep track of their records by associating that number, that specific number to the animal. And then we also have where their date of birth was, so we know where their birthdays are, how old they are, and we also have what zoos they came from prior to coming to Johnville. So as you can see, Maybelle was from Columbus. She was born there. Then our male was born at Omaha Henry Dorley Zoo in Omaha, Nebraska. And then Nika was born at Connecticut's Beardsley Zoo. She did come from Potter Park before that.
So she's lived at a couple zoos.
Yeah. She's 16. Obviously, she's born 2005. So, sometimes the older animals have been to a couple different zoos by the time they reach, in their teens and things like that. That's easy. We also have their weights. So we do monthly weights on our animals. We have a scale that's built in to basically a chute that they walk through. So it's something that we do monthly just to make sure that they're at the weight we want them to be to stay healthy. We have like an ideal weight range that we like to keep them at. And when they start to get a little bit heavier is when we might decrease their diet. And we just want to keep them at that good body condition, not too lean, but not too overweight. And that just helps us give them optimal health. And they tend to live longer and have less health issues when they're at their ideal weight.
Awesome. Well, speaking of diet, it looks like it is about lunchtime based on what I'm seeing you doing over here. Can you tell us what this stuff is?
Sure. So this stuff is for later today. So this is what the diet of meat looks like. It's just a ground raw beef. Actually, I think this is pork. And I have it in meatballs because we do like to do feeding with our lions directly. So this is like their tongs, and I will tong feed our tigers. I almost call them lions. And this helps us kind of build that positive relationship with them when the food is coming from their keepers. It helps us to build better relationship for training. When we ask tigers to like shift from like the yard to like their den space, they were pretty food motivated. So incorporating food into shifting and things like that just helps things go a little bit smoother and helps the tigers more willing to work for us and work with us for doing what we need to do with their husbands. So
can I just take a quick minute and say, if anybody has questions for Keeper Stacy, we welcome your questions. You can type them in the event Q&A. So look for the Q&A portion along the right side there, and I will be happy to pass along any questions you guys might have. Sorry to interrupt. I just wanted to let them know they could ask questions.
I'm just going to throw out there if I stumble a little bit because I get nervous when I know I'm talking to a bunch of people. So
You're doing great.
Bear with me. So I'm making the meatballs, the rest of the meat that I had, and then we're going to take it to our tigers and do an actual feeding with all three of them. So, you wash my hands. What's nifty about this bucket is that it's heavy, but I can attach it to my belt, kind of keep it on my side, so hands free. So when we go into the den area, there's a bunch of doors and locks that I have to manage. So this kind of gives me like a hand free way to carry things. So here's our entry door into the den area. As you can see, it's locked. Tigers are dangerous animals. So we have protocols in place here where we keep everything behind locked doors. All these lights tell us if there's doors or gates that are open. So they're all lit, which means that all the doors are shut. If it wasn't lit, it would mean that a door was open. And that kind of helps the keeper to know if they're coming into a space
tigers eat?
So they primarily get that meat diet, but we do also feed them what we call prey items. So we'll give them rabbits, which actually tomorrow is rabbit day for them. So they get a rabbit every other week. It's probably a rabbit about that size. We don't feed out live. They come to us frozen. We thaw them. They also get a bone, like a knuckle bone, like a big like cow like knuckle bone. So it has like a tiny bit of meat on it, but not a whole lot. We get that to them on what we call our fast day for them. So obviously in the wild, these guys are eating every day. They kind of eat opportunistically for everything. So it's common for them to not be eating daily. Well, we do feed our animals more human care more often than what they can get in the wild. We do like to simulate what we call a fast day, so it gives them hardly any food for the day, just that bone to be able to chew on. It helps maintain their weight. Like I said, kind of simulate what it would be like in the wild because they're not getting food every single day. They sometimes will get chicken, and they also eat like rats and mice occasionally as more treats. We don't put that as part of their regular diet. For enrichment, so like novel foods that they don't get too often. Sometimes our commissary will get donations of like organ meat, which is a good one. Or like a different type of meat, like somebody might donate like a whole piece slab of meat that's like something different they're not used to getting, a different cut on the animal. We've got, let's see, we give them canned tuna. As enrichment, we've given them fish before, because obviously we have a lot of fish eating animals here, so we do have a supply of fish that we can give them. And deer meat is another one that people that go hunting for deer and have a lot of medicine, they might donate that to us.
So the tigers eat a lot of different things, it sounds like.
Yeah.
Really.
If this door is open, that door would sound an alarm to let people know, no, don't enter. Outside, and the tigers are Side right now, our tiger that's not on limit, that's outside in the yard. First, be out there for the nice one. So this is basically the setup each of our tigers that at night, and this is where we keep them, where they stay for the night. Outside is just the side off exhibit yard that we have for them that will give them sometimes access. So they can have some outside time. Other two guys, so all those boxes in there, I gave that to the tigers yesterday as an enrichment. They love to tear and rip things. They love perfume, so I sprayed a bunch of perfume on it. They love to like rub themselves on it. Perfume is a big hit with the tigers, or actually any large cat. They just like the scent of perfume. We have a bunch of different perfumes that people have donated to us in the past that we use. They like some scents more than others, but the very strong smelling ones that's their favorite. That was from yesterday. I have not cleaned that up yet. I'll be cleaning that up today. We try to do stuff like that for them to kind of stimulate their mind, give them something fun, something motivating, something to give them to be able to exhibit their species-specific behavior. So tigers have claws, teeth. They like to rip in here. So we give them something to allow them to do that.
So if we have old perfume we don't like anymore, we can donate it to the zoo?
Yes.
Okay. The tigers, or the tigers will
Yes,
enjoy it.
strong, like old lady scent ones. They're only the hit.
Oh, perfect.
That's what they remind me of. No offense. We just have basically another hallway of 2 tiger dens, and this is where our males sit. So he kind of sits a little bit separately from the females because they're not together all the time. We only put them together for breeding purposes. The male and female do not live together. They do not habitate together. They're separated. So this kind of just keeps him like back away from the females because if not, I think he would be a little bit like too excitable to be around that close to the female all the time. So this just kind of keeps him more calm and not like obsessed that there's like a female right next to him. He's got pretty excited. Want to go in there?
Well, I think we'd love to go out and meet a tiger.
Just real quick, that's the scale I was talking about earlier. So we'll zip through that, and you can see the board thing up there that just you turn on to show what their weight would be. So we don't have to do anything. The scale is built into that, so you know they can't mess with it. They can't mess with any wires. It's all just kind of built in, and all they have to do is walk through it. We'll stop them so that we can get an accurate weight. It's still easy for us to weigh them if we do it monthly. Doors are shut.
I'm super excited about this.
So the zoo has 3 different tigers. And like Stacy said, they don't usually go together. So when you come to visit us at the zoo and you see just one tiger in an area, that's okay. They love spending time alone. You can take a look. We've got a couple different habitats that you can see. So take a look at the other tiger habitat and see if you can find a tiger in there too.
So on a day like today, when it's like super hot out, do they swim? What do they do? Like, what do they want to do to keep cool?
Yeah, swimming is a big one for them. We do have ponds in both exhibits that they can get in the water if they get hot. You know, it's basically just finding the shady spots, keeping cool. But what's nice about these guys is that they can get in the water. It does keep them a little cool. Sometimes we'll do ice treats to give them. This is Nika right here. You can kind of see her beyond the shade.
Wow.
Since she's off exhibit, I might do like an ice treat with her later since we don't have a pool inside the habitat or inside the den space to be able to give her.
Yeah.
She's gonna be sweet now. All right, so we'll start with Mabel over here.
Wow.
Hi,
She's our
Mabel.
4-year-old female. She's laying over here probably because Nika's her bestie and she likes to watch her and just kind of be near her. So this is where she likes to sit mostly if Nika's outside. People. So Mabel has not been very food motivated. She is on the heavier side with her weight. So she may not take a meatball from me. She hasn't really shown that much interest during the day to eat anything. So that's if not, I know Nika and Finn, our male, will take it. They're pretty big.
So Mabel is pretty big. Do you know how much she weighs? Oh, there she goes.
She weighs 134 kilograms, and I don't remember what the conversion to that into pounds. I just like something.
Wow.
So you may notice that Stacy is using those tongs that she talked about, and that helps to keep her safe. She's not sticking her fingers anywhere near those tigers' teeth.
Exactly. I did know somebody that actually did get her finger bit off by a tiger.
Oh my.
So yeah, we always use these kind of tools. We also have something called a meat stick, which is just a stick where you could like kind of push a meatball on to give. But I prefer to use the tongs just because they're a little easier to grip the meatball. Good girl.
Pretty. Wow.
So tigers are kind of famous for their stripes, And if you did not know, those stripes help them to camouflage in the trees. So they typically live in forested areas. And as the sun shines through those trees, it creates really stripy shadows through the forest. So that tiger has stripes to blend in with those tree shadows.
Yep. Sometimes when I'm out here observing them or watching them or checking on them, I do have trouble seeing her through the trees. You think bright orange, and she would be like a beacon. I sometimes think I see them and it's not them at all. And then she'll be over here, and I'm like, oh, there you are. So they totally do blend. All right, let's go on to Nika. She seems a little bit
Not into us today.
Bye, Maybell.
So you were saying like tigers, are they pretty much solitary animals?
Yeah, they are solitary in the wild. They only come together during in captivity. There are situations. There are situations, where you can put like same-sex animals together. Males, no, in the tiger species, but other species of animals, you might be able to form like a bachelor group. Actually, lions can form bachelor groups in the wild and in captivity or in human care. These guys, I don't know. I know we used to have two brothers here. I think that if they come from like the same litter and they grow up together, you can maybe have them together, but you couldn't like put two unrelated male tigers together. That probably wouldn't happen.
Wow. I'm still like just really amazed at how large they are right up. So beautiful.
Yeah, this is Nika. She's our 16-year-old. She loves her food.
Yeah, she does seem a little more hungry than Maybell.
More motivated.
How old do they live to be?
Similar to like a domestic cat. So she's in her geriatric years at 16. She could easily live, maybe into her early 20s. Or she could maybe not live that much longer than what she is. Just like kind of stumbles there. You could tell that she's just older than usual. She actually had a mat on the side of her cheek that she finally looked like she got off. It was like hanging. I'm sorry about that.
Meatball down.
Good girl. Good girl. But you can see she's a lot lighter. She kind of has that, how dogs and cats, as they get older, they kind of get more of the white muzzle, around their muzzle and on their face. I feel like that's kind of her where her color starts to fade if you compare her to Maybell. Maybell's color is a lot more vibrant and striking. They do have a tendency to spray if they want to, so I've had plenty of cat spray on me, so I don't really trust it. Oh, look out. Are you okay? Would you like one more meatball? Good girl. Wow.
So she has extremely sharp teeth. Tigers and other cats are carnivores. And the way scientists split up animals into those groups, carnivore, herbivore, or omnivore, is actually based on their teeth. So her teeth are only really meant for tearing. She doesn't have those grinding teeth like you and I have, those molars. Instead, she's got very sharp teeth for tearing meat. Or in this case, meatballs.
Yes.
I feel like I just want to pet her,
She wouldn't like that too much.
I'm sure she wouldn't.
No.
So pretty.
All right, we're gonna head down to the other habitat now and try to see what Finn's up to.
So right now we are walking on a trail, and next to us is the Tiger Trail. So this is not typically a place where our guests get to go in the zoo, but this is how zookeepers travel from the upper tiger habitat to the lower tiger habitat. You might remember earlier we said they've got a couple different spaces so that they can be separated, which is their preference usually. Right now we're heading down to see Finn. He is our male tiger. So earlier we met Nika and Maybell.
How old is Finn?
Finn
is 5. Or he's just a year older than. He's down there sleeping. Finn!
Oh, wow.
Finn! Hey, guys.
Do you know his name?
He's just waking up. He heard his keeper, and he knows that Stacy usually brings meatballs. So he might decide to wake up from his nap to come see Stacy. Right now he's kind of hiding in the corner where he likes to take his little cat naps.
Yeah, so if you ever come to the zoo and you come over to this, would this be like the lower tiger habitat? And you can't see where the tiger is. I now know why.
Yes.
He's totally hiding.
It's not an ideal spot for sure. That's where the keeper enters the habitat. So it's really just like an entry space for us to be able to service this habitat. Like we have to like pick up food and like wash windows and change their water. And he's discovered it to be a great little resting spot that completely hides him from the public being able to see him. So not ideal, but it's hot. You know, I don't actually blame him for that. It's cool and shady over there. Concrete is cooler to lay on, you know, right now in the shade. Finn, you gonna come down? So I might not be able to get Finn to come up. Most of the time he's food motivated, but he seems to be very content there right now. So I don't know if we can get him to move. We'll give him a couple more minutes.
Maybe he's like, I don't know who that third person is that you're with. I'm not coming over there.
He might be a little bit weirded out by new people, but he tends to be very laid back. That stuff like this doesn't tend to faze him as much. Maybell, our younger female, tends to be a lot more weird about stuff, but she actually did pretty good. I'm just gonna throw a couple of meatballs in here to see if that'll get him interested.
Come get a meatball.
So if we're looking at his habitat, he took this tunnel down to get down into the habitat. And there's lots of rocks and grasses and logs, but there's also so much water. There's like this big waterfall that leads into a deeper pool. And then the water continues over down a little bit closer to where Finn is laying right now. So something that's really cool about tigers is that they are excellent swimmers. And in the wild, they spend a decent amount of time in the water. So we like to make sure that our cats, our tigers, have the opportunity to go swimming just like tigers that live in the wild.
Finn, you gonna come?
Like, too hot.
Too sleepy.
So obviously we don't make animals do things that they don't want to do. We always try to keep it as positive reinforcement, positive relationships, positive things, so that you know, we like to give them choice and control. So we like to give them opportunities to choose to come to us, to choose to lay there, to choose to, you know, interact with us or not. So it's just one of the things that we like to do as zookeepers here, just for good, positive animal welfare. And again, giving them that choice and giving them positive relationships, positive reinforcement, they do tend to work better for us for things like shifting on and off, shifting from den to den, you know, maybe doing some training behaviors for like medical procedures and stuff like that. So it's all positive relationships, positive reinforcement.
Yeah, understandable.
All right. Does anybody have any last questions for Keeper Stacy about the tigers or about anything that we've seen so far?
I've been keeping an eye on the Q&A. So far, I've only seen a couple come through. If you guys have questions, type them in the Q&A section.
Yeah, I do apologize that we couldn't get him to come up to us today.
No worries.
That's the thing about cats. They can be pretty unpredictable.
We understand.
Now, something, I don't want to gross you out, but over here, I see that Finn has decided to go to the bathroom in his water, which is something I recently learned that many cats in the wild do, because they are hunters and they don't want to let their prey know that they're there. And a big part of that is hiding their smells. So if they're using the water, that is a great way to hide that they're there so their prey doesn't know that they're coming.
For a keeper, it's not so fun because trying to fish that out of the water the following day can be a little exasperating. But you know, it's all part of being a zookeeper. I'm happy to do it, but or you know, we'll give like a fresh bowl of water to a cat, and the first thing they do is pee in it. It's supposed to be their drinking water. I'm sorry, they poop in it. So, but you know, obviously we allow them to do their natural instincts. We want them to do that. We want them to feel like they can exhibit their species-specific behavior. So, you know, we just shrug our shoulders and clean that as best we can. But you know, it's kind of just a running joke between keepers about like cats loving to poop in their freshly cleaned water that we provide for them.
And you probably said this. How many times do they eat a day, or it's just more like circumstantial?
Yeah, we do
like when they're
twice a day feeding with them, and that's just for like, you know, like I was talking about earlier, building those positive relationships, getting them to shift on and off. So we kind of use their diet to, you know, get them to move where we want them to be, and we're giving them some motivation to move on the habitat, off the habitat at night. So they get like one certain amount of meat per day, and that's, like I said, we formulate that based on their weight, and then we divide it into two feedings. A lot of the time I'll do like midday feeding. I'll come down here and give, you know, Tom feed them some meatballs just to kind of like spread that out. And just to kind of keep them interested and motivated, and again building that positive relationship where the food is coming from their caretaker and they like me because I provide the food, and you know, it allows us to build that great working relationship.
All right, friends. Well, with these lonely meatballs on this rock, just waiting to be eaten in a little bit as soon as Finn decides to wake up from his nap.
He'll probably come after we walk
as
away.
soon as we walk away, right? He'll come eat those. We'll have to catch you next time, Finn.
Yeah.
All right, friends. Thank you so much for joining us with the Tigers. If you are interested, at noon, we are going to go behind the scenes in the aquarium to see everything that needs to happen for an aquarium like the one at John Ball to run smoothly. So join us at noon, and thank you so much. Allison, anything else to add?
No, I think that's it. My apologies again for our technical difficulties, but hopefully we'll be smooth sailing from here. And I'm going to toss it back over to Eric so he can get you guys started with the next thing.
Thanks, everyone.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. Pretty impressive. Allison is making her way back from the tiger exhibit. And we are just, you know, trying to stay warm here. Great. Good thing I wore 2 shirts on this day. I'll just tell you that right now. We have 2 more of those zoo tumblers and some Gift of Life swag to give away. We're going to have another quiz here. Jan, if you can make sure that thing's it's not agreeing with me. All right, Emma, here we go. How many lives can one organ donor save? That is the question. How many lives can one organ donor save? Is it A8, B3, C6, or D10? Again, how many lives can one organ donor save? A8, B3, C6, D10. Remember to type your answers in the chat, and we will announce the winner there as well. Sherry and Rob already nailed it. Oh my gosh. That was awesome. I think I got it too. I think it's, try to work this out. 2 kidneys, liver, heart, 2 lungs, that's 6, pancreas, intestines. Yes! Thank you. I am wonderful. All right, let's get into our first 3 zoo tales. The organ and tissue donation process begins with the selfless decision of a donor or a donor family to say yes to donation. Without donors, none of this would be possible. I want to introduce you to Leslie Pickle and Nancy Blodgett, two amazing donor family members from Southwest Michigan, and Becky Richard, a living kidney donor from Grand Rapids. They have all have some really good stories to share about their donor and recipient heroes. Let's listen in and watch.
Hi, I'm Leslie Pickell. I live in Benton Harbor, Michigan. I am a volunteer for Gift of Life Michigan, and I am also a member of a donor family. I found myself suddenly a member of a club that I had never thought I would become a member of, and that's the whole multitudes of people who are members of an organ donor family. And that has impacted me in profound ways, as my additional family members, and really inspired me to want to give back and become a volunteer at Gift of Life Michigan. My brother Bob passed away on July 1st, 2016, and he suffered a traumatic brain injury, and because he had registered to become an organ donor, he ended up enhancing the life of numerous people and saving the life of some too. Bob was extraordinary. I think anybody that knew Bob would say exactly the same thing. We joked that he lived his life in all caps. Everything was just astounding. He was an incredible, loving, kind husband to Chris, his wife, and a supportive father to his sons Jason and Ryan. But I think most importantly, he impacted the lives of hundreds and hundreds of kids as a choral director for over 3 decades, teaching children music and inspiring them with a passion and love for music that still stands today. He really was a friend to all. A friend to all if you were a child or you're an adult. He was compassionate, caring, so active in his community. And in fact, they're building or redoing in his hometown a stage that is going to be the Bob Pickell stage. He was so impactful when he was living, but no surprise, he continues to impact multiple lives even though he isn't with us here. He made sure everyone knew he was an organ donor. And that was really, really important near the time of his death because his wife was so clear on what his wishes were. Because we have to always think about, if I cannot speak for myself, what do I need others to know about what I would want to have happen? And for sure, he had made it really clear that this was a wish he had if he would ever find himself in that situation. And although it certainly didn't make his passing any easier, there was this sense of peace going on that he would continue to impact folks for a very long time, even afterward.
My name is Nancy Blodgett. I'm from Kalamazoo, Michigan, and my daughter, Brianne, was an organ donor in 2002. She donated 5 organs and both of her eyes. Her dad actually said, "Can we donate her organs?" And I said no. I was in shock and disbelief because I had lost her, and now I know it was the best choice we made. And more of my friends have become organ donors. They talked with their children. It's something that nobody wants to talk about, but everybody should talk about. At my place of employment, we had a graphic art student that worked with us. He came to me one day and said, "I want to draw your daughter," but I was afraid to ask. And I said, "Oh my gosh, I would love for you to draw my daughter." He actually hand charcoaled her, and it's a tribute to her that I will forever cherish. More than anything, I think that us making that decision to give her organs would be what she had wanted. She was such a giving child. Everybody was her friend. She took the less fortunate under wing. It came to us when there were more than 500 people at her funeral. That told us that she touched a lot of hearts. And then with organ donation, she continues. It carried on. So she was a peach of a girl. She really was. For Brianne, it touched me that that her organs went to the people that they did. But the one that touched me the most was that I heard her eye went to an 80-year-old man, and I only could think what it must feel like to be 80 years old and look through the eyes of a 10-year-old child. That was the one that touched me the most. I was very close to her liver recipient, and I'll give her credit because she never gave up on me. It is hard in the beginning when you're a donor family to know that your loss was someone else's gain. It's a lot to undertake, but time does heal, and there is never a day that's easy, but every day is easier. For recipient families, I just want them to know not to give up on the donor families, because they may come around. I did, and I'm grateful. We lost Bonnie last November, but I am grateful for the time I had with her, and I'm grateful for the 18 years that my daughter gave her. Brianne got to live on. She carried on in 5 other families, 6 other families. I read a quote once that said, "No one dies unless they're forgotten." Brianne will never be forgotten, but organ donation allowed her to carry on with other people, and so she's even remembered by them now. Your loved ones can live on in the lives of others, and it's the most precious gift you could ever give.
My name is Becky Richard, and I'm from Grand Rapids, Michigan. And my connection to donation is I am a living kidney donor. I do hair, and I heard about one of my clients who was sick and found out he was on dialysis, and a little voice inside my head thought, hey, maybe I can help. And I wanted to get tested to find out if that was something that I could help with. It turned out that, I'm not sure how, but we ended up being perfect sibling matches. So I think it was meant to be. He is doing great. His daughter is expecting their 3rd grandbaby, so he's a grandpa now, and he got to walk his other daughter down the aisle, and so that was pretty special. I got to be there. The reward that you get through organ donation is it's enriched my life so much that it's so worth it. And so all of the fears and the anxieties that I might have had at some certain point, they're just a distant memory to me now. So if you're one of those people where that actually crosses your mind and you think, hey, maybe I could do this, then I would just encourage you to just explore that feeling and that thought, and contact Gift of Life or your local transplant center. And it's just a really special thing to be able to help somebody with something that they can't get anywhere else. It's meant a lot more to me than I ever thought it would be. It's been an extension of my family, so my recipient and I have become very close. I'm very close with his wife. We're really good friends. But even beyond that, it was just a chance for me to express love outside of my circle that I'm used to loving in. And that experience alone has just made my life so much richer and happier. And I wish I had 3 more kidneys. I would do it again and again. So I compare it to the birth of my children. It was just so, so special. Just spreading the word about organ and tissue donation and being able to answer questions for people. Being a living donor, I think I'm in a bit of a unique situation. And so if I can help someone else maybe even just think about it or even know that it's a possibility. I think that's pretty important.
All right. Thank you, Leslie, Nancy, and Becky. Eric, I don't know about you, but I'm convinced that the world needs more people like Becky, Leslie, Bob, Nancy, and Brianne. Deceased donors, donor families, and living donors are the best kind of people. I honestly can't think of anything more noble than helping others in the midst of your own tragedy or loss, or having surgery to give someone one of your organs while you're still alive. So I will never not be humbled by that. Thank you to all the donor family members and living donors participating in this event today. We're so honored to share this day with you. And speaking of which, thank you, Eric, for donating a kidney to save your friend Jeffrey's life.
You know, and the thing about that is I try to tell people it is a very big deal for the person that is receiving, but I can't stress enough. It didn't, you know, I was scared for just a little bit of time, but that all was abandoned because of the care that I received. Like I said before, I was so happy to help my friend, and I do it again in a heartbeat. I have the utmost respect for living and deceased donors, their families. Truly, thank you all.
Awesome. Thank you. What do you say we do another giveaway?
I think it sounds like an excellent idea. What are we giving away this time?
Okay, so we have, if I can hold it up here, 2 of these lovely reusable Tiger totes that will fill up with some Gift of Life swag. So remember, type your answers in the chat and then keep an eye on the chat to see if you've won.
All right.
So Eric, since you're pretty good at reading these questions, I think you should do this next one too.
All right. Well, thank you very much. Mostly, I'm just happy that I haven't messed anything up yet. Well, that's kind of not true, but that's what I'm telling everybody with these giveaways yet. Stay tuned. There's still plenty of time for more errors. Okay. We asked about organ donors last time. This time we're looking for how many lives can be impacted by a single cornea and tissue donor. Is it A, 50, 100, B, 100, C, 75, or D, 150? Again, how many people can be impacted by a single cornea and tissue donation? Can you bounce it back just a little bit? A, 50, B, 100, C, 75, and D, 150. Get your answers in now.
Get your answers in now. We'll give it just a second maybe to see if we have some winners. Victoria, Joe, and Helen. Does that sound right?
That does sound
all right. We'll be in touch with you next week. All right. So next, we want to introduce you to 2 people here in West Michigan who are working hard every day to make the most of the precious gifts given by organ donors. So here from Mercy Health Kidney Transplant Center is Emily Rude, and from Spectrum Health, Richard DeVos Heart and Lung Transplant Program is Misty Sly, to tell you more about the work being done on behalf of their patients and those on the organ transplant waiting list.
My name is Emily Rude. I am one of the post-transplant nurses for the Mercy Health St. Mary's Kidney Transplant Program. Mercy Health St. Mary's is an adult transplant program, the only one in West Michigan. We offer both deceased donor and living donor transplant options. We have a pretty large, robust program going on currently, and I think we've done to date this year about 45 transplants so far. So I began my career 10 years ago, and for the first 6 years worked in our intensive care unit at St. Mary's. In that time span, worked quite closely at certain given points with Gift of Life, letting them know when patients were possibly, applicable to that situation. And then as I got more into my career, being able to help on the procurement side with those families who have chosen for their loved ones, or those people who have chosen to give the gift of life, however unforeseen that circumstance might be. So it was tragic, of course, to have them be at that point, but I felt like those patients who were able to, or their family was able to choose for them that gift, it brought that tragedy and turned it around into something bigger, something more powerful than just that loss in that moment, because they were then able to give that gift. And then And then going to the other side and seeing our transplant patients be able to receive that gift and call them in for that gift, to give somebody that call that says, hey, if everything goes well, this is what's in store for you, and to give them that news and to hear on the other end of the line just their excitement or their overloaded joy or tears. Just, I mean, being able to have that emotional moment with a patient where you've done so much legwork to get them to that point, and they've done so much legwork to get to that point, is just, I mean, it's beautiful. We have such like strong moments in that, and the bond just really builds from there. To me, organ and tissue donation is absolutely life-changing for a patient. I mean, they go from feeling sick and not being able to, you know, live their life freely and not without a schedule and a time frame with everything, and then when they receive that transplant, to be able to give them that freedom and their life back, those vacations, that time spent with family, to be able to go anywhere they want, you know, eventually is, I mean, we hear that from patients, like, I can actually plan a vacation and I don't have to worry about coordinating dialysis 3 days a week or bringing my peritoneal dialysis supplies wherever I go. That is so fantastic. It's just great to be able to help them get to that level.
I'm Misty Sly, and I work in Grand Rapids at Spectrum Health through the Richard DeVos Heart and Lung Transplant Program. And I am a medical social worker there. We've had over a decade of experience in transplant for both heart and lung and kidney transplants. And so we're super happy to be able to serve the west side of Michigan in that capacity. You know, what makes us so great is that Spectrum Health offers a team-based approach to all of the services that we provide. And that means that we collaborate, you know, along the whole health system to make sure that we have a personalized plan for each patient. So every patient that is referred to our center, we have clinicians and experts who specialize in these areas. You know, so it's pretty exciting. So transplant social workers, we follow the patients through all phases of transplant. So pre-transplant, during transplant hospitalization, and post-transplant. I see the impact that donation and transplantation has on patients, and it's really exciting to see, you know, my patients can bring their families to the zoo now. You know, they never would be able to do that before. They can watch their grandchildren grow up. They can spend, you know, retirement with their loved ones, and it's really exciting to see. My brother actually had a kidney transplant, and so that wasn't on my radar at all. And then, you know, a friend of mine came up to me after grad school and said there was an opening at this program, and I had worked at another position for a while, and it seemed like a really exciting fit, especially what had just happened with my brother. I've been there now for about 7 years. My brother's life has been saved twice now from kidney transplant. And, you know, he's in his 30s. You know, he has 2 young kids. So watching him be able to grow up with his kids is really, really exciting. And then I get to see every day the impact that donation has on my patients and their families. And it's just extremely rewarding.
That was really awesome. Shout out to everyone over at Mercy Health and Spectrum Health Transplant Programs for your dedication to your patients and helping to honor life through the gift of organ donation.
We have the best people in West Michigan, don't we? It's absolutely true.
We really do. I like to say the west side is the best side.
I'm from Southeast Michigan, but I'm going to have to agree with you on that one. I've lived here for many, many years now. So there you go. I think it's time to do another giveaway. What do we have next?
All right, let's do it. So we have kind of the same thing as before, only this time the toads have a giraffe on them. I don't know if you can see that, hopefully. So go ahead and give us the next question, Eric.
Okay. Since we just heard from our friend from the transplant centers, this next one seems appropriate. How often is a new person added to the National Transplant waiting list? Is it A, every 2 minutes, B, every 10 minutes, C, every 30 minutes, D, every 2 hours? How often is a person added to the transplant waiting list? A, every two minutes, B, every 10 minutes, C, every 30 minutes, D, every 2 hours. There you go. Put your guesses in right now, your educated guesses, and let us know.
Yeah.
See if we can get a quick turnaround. Want to give away the bag.
That's right. I know some of you know this, and I forgot to mention this. Of course, will have some really cool Gift of Life stuff in it too.
Sure.
When it arrives to you.
Sure.
Jen, do we have any winners?
They're coming
checking,
up.
we're
This
checking.
is when we stall and do
Yes.
fun things.
Yeah.
Wait patiently.
We're hoping that you guys
Buy
are playing
time.
along, right? Mary
Wu.
Blue
Mary
and
Wu.
Michelle Hernandez. You are our lucky winners, so stay tuned. Props to everyone who got that right. Every 10 minutes, a new name is added to the National Transplant waiting list, which is quite a stat if you really.
Yeah, it really is. It's you just hope that there can be so many more people donating to make that less of a thing.
Yeah, that's the goal. Yeah, it's kind of hard to wrap your mind around, right? So next, I want you to meet Leslie Palacios, a cornea recipient from Grand Rapids, and Tristan Johnson, a kidney recipient from Kalamazoo. Take a listen.
Mi nombre es Leslie Palacios, soy de Guatemala y mi conexión con Gift of Life Michigan, que soy recipiente de córneas.
And I'm her son, Brian Garcia.
Mi primer trasplante de córnea fue en el 2010.
So her first cornea transplant was in 2010.
Y el segundo trasplante fue en 2012.
And her second transplant was in 2012.
Porque tengo una enfermedad que se llama cornea granular dystrophy y eso hace que mi vista empeore y infecciones y es por eso que necesito trasplantes de córnea.
So she has cornea granular dystrophy. So with that over time, she would be needing a cornea transplant. So she had symptoms and visited the doctor.
Mi hija tiene la misma enfermedad que yo tengo y en algún futuro ella va a necesitar un trasplante de córnea.
In the future, my sister will also need a cornea transplant because she does have the same disease.
Pues gracias a que recibí mi trasplante pude ver crecer a mis hijos y deseo que otras personas también puedan hacer lo mismo que yo por haber recibido trasplantes de córnea.
So she's grateful to be a recipient of a transplant because she was able to see her kids grow and be able to see daily life, how it is, and she's very grateful.
En primer lugar, quisiera decirle a la comunidad hispana que done, porque es una de las pocas popularidad de las personas que no se ha registrado para donar, pero hay mucha gente hispana que necesita órganos. Entonces, que la gente hispana se registre para donar.
The biggest message she wants to share is to the Latinx community because there shouldn't be a fear of organ donation because it can help out people's life and their futures. So she advised people to donate.
A la familia de mis donantes, que Dios los bendiga y que gracias porque es un gran regalo para mí y para mi familia.
She wants to say thank you to the donors because it's something big for her, and she wants to say thank you and God bless them.
Hi, my name is Tristan Johnson. I'm from Portage, Michigan, and when I was 15, I had a kidney transplant. That fall of my freshman year, I was playing football. It was first year of high school, and I would have some swelling in my legs and some joint pain, and I was fatigued all the time. Going into Christmas break, I was super sick. My face was swollen. Everything really around me was swollen. So we went straight to the emergency room on Christmas Eve, and after sitting in the emergency room for 3 hours, doing a bunch of different tests, that's when they came in and told me that I was in renal failure and that my best option was to be taken in an ambulance up to Helen DeVos Children's Hospital in Grand Rapids. Definitely flipped not just myself, but my whole family's life upside down. I was on dialysis 3 times a week. It was a lot of work, dialysis in the morning and then school. I was exhausted all the time, so a lot of times at night, like I would just sleep and then get up and get ready for dialysis in the morning. May 6th is when I got my kidney transplant. You feel immediately better after, like just from even that May 5th Sunday to May 6th when I woke up, I felt tremendously better. I had so much energy. I was just rehabbing, trying to get myself stronger to play lacrosse that summer, and eventually I was able to play in my last tournament in August. But yeah, just continuing to take care of my kidney now. I feel great. Being in dialysis with so many kids younger than me, I was able to see like kids who were born with renal failure or kidney problems and have had to been on dialysis their whole life. So it really inspired me to want to become in the medical field and to work with sick patients and just try and give them some hope, especially coming from somebody who had a lot of severe medical problems, just showing them that it does get better. You just gotta persevere and get through it. But as well, it just like changed my whole outlook on life. I just try to live things a lot more now because I know how things can be taken for granted.
If you could speak to the family of your donor, what would you like to say to them?
I would just want them to know that like I do everything every single day that I can to make sure that this was like not for granted. Nothing I take is for granted. They take so much into account to make sure that you are ready and prepared to get this absolute like gift of life, because it changes everything. So yeah, just being so thankful for their decision, and it really makes a difference.
All right, now you all probably know that I am the eye candy of this whole operation, but there are some amazing people behind the scenes who we have to thank. Now, there's a lot of people involved in Gift of Life Gift of Life Michigan, who I can't see right now, but you're all fantastic. But Scott and the Jens here are making life very easy for your old pal, Eric. Okay, so Allison left me again to head over to the aquarium. But before she left, she gave me permission to do one more quick giveaway. This time, hold that thought. I should have done this ahead of time. This time, some John Ball Zoo t-shirts for the kiddos, okay? Well, actually, one is for the kids, one is for the adults, one is for an adult. I don't know what I'm doing.
Adult large, kids.
So there you go. We're going to give these away right now. It's a true or false, okay? So it's going to kind of like be first person that gets this right. So listen very, very carefully. True or false? Transplant recipients can, C-A-N, be organ donors. True or false? Transplant recipients can be organ donors. Put your answers in. We'll wait. It's the first two. So I know everybody's going to be like throwing answers up there. So as they come in, the illustrious Jen will take note as to who the first two that get in, and she will let us know.
They're random.
They are random. They're randomly. I just found that out. Randomly chosen, not the first two. I assumed that. That's what happens when you assume. Taya and Leslie, congratulations. You got the t-shirts. Sorry to those people who thought they got it right. That's embarrassing. That's a me thing, okay? Random. Cornea and tissue recipients can be organ donors, and organ recipients can donate everything but their transplanted organ. So no excuses, guys. Go over to golm.org and join the Michigan Organ Donor Registry today. I can't say that word registry. It just doesn't work for my face. All right. Now I'm going to toss it over to Allison and Megan at the aquarium. I hope. Fingers crossed. Allison.
I'm going to let you take it
All
away.
right. Well, hi, everyone. It's so good to hang out with you today. My name is Megan, and I am from Jumbo Zoo, and I'm here with
Allison from Gift of Life.
And we are so excited to take you behind the scenes in the aquarium. So if you have been to the zoo before, you have probably been in our aquarium and seen some amazing fish, and one of my favorites, the penguins. But you might not know that it takes a lot of equipment and a lot of hard work to make the aquarium function really well and keep our animals happy and healthy. So today we are taking you to a place where not very many guests have gotten to go. We're going to go behind the scenes in the aquarium to check out some of that stuff. Allison, are you ready?
I'm ready. Let's go.
All right.
Okay.
Here we go.
I got to tell you guys, I don't know, back up there, Eric and everybody up there. We're in the air conditioning and it's really nice for a change.
All right, friends. So we're going to go through this super secret door. After you, Allison. All right. So we are currently behind the scenes in the aquarium. Now, it is pretty loud back here, so I'm going to talk really nice and loud. Luckily for you, I'm a very loud person, so you should still be able to hear me. But if you have any questions, you can go ahead and type them in the chat box. The Q&A. And Allison will let me know, and I will do my best to answer your questions. So follow me. We're going to start by heading down some stairs. Watch this stuff, it's really slippery. All right, friends, so we are currently in the filter room. So each tall black tower that you see down here in the filter room holds a filter that looks just like this. So if you have a pool or a jacuzzi at home, those might look kind of familiar to you, but we use these filters to clean things out of the aquarium. So the water comes down these tubes, travels through the filters, and then goes back up. And what the filters are trying to do is catch different things out of the water that we don't want. Things like leftover food that the penguins didn't eat, or even worse, penguin poop that smells really gross. In the wild, the ocean naturally washes that stuff away. In the aquarium, we have to figure out a system to do that. So we use those filters. Now, before we head upstairs, I want to show you that these filters are just for the kelp forests. You can see over here, the other filters over here are just for the penguins. So when we bring the water out of the tank and we bring it down to get filtered, it does not get mixed together because the kelp forest is really cold salt water and the penguin water is warmer fresh water. So it wouldn't make sense for us to mix it all together and then recycle that water again. So we have to keep them all on a separate system. But let's head upstairs. We've actually got some animals that we're going to meet today. So before we logged in with you guys, I asked Allison to rinse her hands because if she'd like to, she's going to have the chance to get to touch some of these underwater animals, which is always pretty exciting.
Oh yeah, I'm all about it.
All right.
This is really behind the scenes.
So over here, we have our touch tank. So sometimes we get to bring students back here to meet these animals. And all the animals in this tank come from an intertidal zone. So they have to be really tough to survive where there are tides. So Allison, if you'd like to, you can reach in and feel these sea stars are really cool.
There's some cowries over here that are really cool. It's not gonna bite you, no.
What did you say these are?
This one is a cowrie.
Slimy.
Yeah, it feels kind of slimy on top.
I noticed that this water is very cold.
Oh, it's super cold. Yeah. So the animals that live in this touch tank come from, yeah, go ahead. They come from a place that's really cold all the time. So we have to make sure that we keep their water nice and cold too. And this guy over here, this is a keyhole limpet. And I one time asked the zookeepers what their favorite animal in this whole touch tank is, and they all really like this keyhole limpet. Absolutely. And it's kind of foggy here, but you can see his cute little face right here. He's got that radial mouth that he uses to eat small things. Some of them really like to eat fish. Some of them really like to eat things like kelp and seaweed. But I would say probably my favorite animals that are in here are these sea stars. Now, I don't call them starfish because they are not fish. They are something called an echinoderm. But one of my favorite things about them is their ability to regenerate, which means that if they lost an arm, they would be able to grow it back. And some sea stars can even regenerate if the only thing that's left is one of their arms and a little bit of this middle portion too. So if you ever see a sea star that has one really big arm and four really teeny tiny arms, those arms are just growing back and they'll eventually all be the same size.
Do they have predators?
Absolutely, they have predators. In the intertidal zone, sea stars and the other animals that live in here have to survive not only aquatic predators, but terrestrial predators too. So especially animals like seagulls, lots of different kinds of larger fish, sometimes even things like an octopus or a squid. But they have some things that help them to survive. And one of those is their ability to regenerate. Allison just pointed out right here.
What's this guy doing? Can I touch it?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know if I dare.
So what she's touching right now, those are his tube feet. They kind of look like tentacles, but they're really just tube feet. And he uses his tube feet to help him move around. So he moves around with those tube feet, and he also uses them to help him eat, because a sea star really likes to eat things like crabs and clams and oysters and fish. And if you've ever tried to open a clam before, you know it's pretty hard to do. So what the sea star will do is they'll attach those 2 feet to either side and kind of crank that clam open. And they only have to get it about as far open as a piece of paper. So really thin, because then their stomach actually comes out of their body from right here and goes into that shell and sort of like collects all the meat from inside and brings it back in. It's sort of like if I gave you a piece of pizza and you just sort of stuck it in your stomach and then shoved it back in. That's how sea stars eat their food. It's both terrifying and awesome at the same time. And you can see this guy down here. This is the other side of one of those cowries that Allison was touching earlier. And you can see right here is sort of like his version of a foot, but it's sort of like a suction cup. It makes it really hard for animals to take him off a rock, or when big waves come crashing up, he stays right there and he's really safe thanks to this big foot of his. Allison, do you have any questions of the stuff in here?
I was going to check to see if you had any questions from the crew. I don't think we do. I just, do you ever are you allowed to actually pick them up, or do you just touch them?
Yeah, we just touch
I
them in the touch tank.
I was just curious.
Yeah, the only time we ever really need to pick them up is if there's some sort of health concern. A zookeeper might take them up to look at them. It's not unhealthy. It just is maybe a little bit stressful for them. So we like to make sure that they can stay wherever they want to stay.
Very cool. So where is it that we would see these guys? You were saying they come from a place where it's really cold.
Yeah, they come from northern areas in the Pacific. So like
near Oregon. It's a great place to find animals like this on the coast there. All right. Well,
Anyone have a question? I don't know. Are you taking us somewhere else?
yeah, well, it's time to, we can head somewhere else or if people
No,
have
that's
questions.
good. I think this will, if you don't have questions, I mean, I'll get back on track timeline too, but I just addressed another thing you were going to
Perfect.
show us.
Well, let's put it this way. We're gonna go to the aquarium kitchen. All right, friends, so we are currently standing in the aquarium kitchen. Now, the zoo has one really big kitchen that they prepare most of the produce for the animals in the zoo, but the aquarium has a kitchen of their very own. And a lot of their animals go through some pretty specific stuff, which is usually a lot of fish, as you can see in these bowls right here. So if you have ever wanted to be a zookeeper, I hope you're okay with your hands smelling like fish a lot, because they have to prepare the food for the penguins, for the other animals that live in this aquarium, and that can be kind of a stinky job. Now,
Grading over here.
do you mind telling us a little bit about what you're doing over here?
So this is
I had myself. Okay.
and basically just nice, nutritious food for them. But we have to do it in small pieces because the fish mouths are very sensitive, so they have to be able to eat it. So it smells wonderful.
Yeah,
It is wonderful.
you might be grateful to not have smell-o-vision right now.
Yes, you might want it. It has kind of like a garlic smell.
Ooh, garlicky.
Delicious.
There's that
Really
gel diet.
healthy. Thank you.
Now, before we leave this aquarium kitchen, there's something kind of special about this area, and that is all of these quarantine tanks. Now, I used to have to explain what quarantine was to people, but most people at this point know what it means. So if we have any animals that get sick, they can come up into a tank like this where they're going to get medicine. The zookeepers can keep a good close watch on them to make sure that they are healthy and getting all of the attention that they need. So we've got a bunch of different tanks of different sizes up here to take care of animals when they're sick, or when they're brand new to the zoo, they have to go through a quarantine to make sure that they're healthy before we put them out into an exhibit. We're gonna head down this way. Do one last thing. So one of my favorite spots in this behind the scenes area is right here, because you can look down and see some fish from above. This is a smaller tank that's between our penguins and our larger kelp tank too. Now, this is a really cool spot, not only because it's awesome to be able to look down onto these fish from above, but you can also see where the keepers come when it's time to feed and clean this tank. When it's time to feed them, the keepers will walk right down this ladder and toss the food in. But when it's time to clean, the zookeepers actually put on scuba gear. We actually have keeper Jamie wrapping up a cleaning that she was just doing in our kelp tank. They'll lower this ladder into this tank right here, and with their scuba gear on, they'll stay down there and they'll clean the glass. They've got this really cool siphoning system so they can clean up any fish poo that's left on the bottom. This is a really cool spot to see. All right, friends. Thank you so much for joining us today. If you have any questions, please let us know. Other than that, thank you, everyone, and we'll see you later. Bye-bye.
That was really fun. I wish I could always have like VIP access to go behind the scenes when I come to the zoo. Very special thanks to Megan for putting those fun experiences together for us. We loved it.
It was very, very cool. And speaking of cool, we'd like to get into another wildlife challenge. Okay.
All right, let's do it. Okay, so to play, you'll need to open the Kahoot app on a cell phone or tablet. Once you have the app open, enter the PIN that you see on the event screen so you can join the game live. So while you guys are all doing that, let me just take a moment to remind you that we do have some pretty cool prizes for our top 4 finishers. So first place is going to receive a guided tour of John Ball Zoo for 4. And then second through fourth place will receive a $50 John Ball Zoo gift card.
Very nice. Thanks to them. It looks like people are joining the game. We're going to give it just another minute or so, and then we will get started.
Yes, I see. Let's see. Can you see people joining on your end there, Jen? It's just me. We'll
Yeah, this gives us an opportunity to think on our feet, come up with clever
It
things to
does.
say.
Have you shared more information about your donor story?
Oh my gosh, I would.
I'd like to go to that.
Yeah, and the thing is, I could talk about it for like a day and a half.
Talk about it.
Where to begin? I think a lot of people who are living donors, they don't know what to expect, like fear of the unknown. And so I have a master's degree in this, and let me just quickly take you through it. Once all the T's are crossed and the I's are dotted, on the big day, the amount of care that you get as this procedure takes place, you wake up. I won't lie, you're uncomfortable. I mean, as you would expect. But then, of course, with the marvels of medicine, you're back on your feet in no time. I walked out of the facility in 24 hours from the UCLA Medical Center in Los Angeles. And then it was, outside of minor incision pain, there was nothing to worry about. And I made a full recovery. I was running, lifting weights within about 6 weeks. And then the person who, and the reason why I bring that up is because some people are like, oh boy, I don't know, I'm scared, but there's really nothing to fear. Honestly, there's nothing to fear. And then when I heard right away about the person who I donated it to, how his numbers, the important things with his failed kidney, all of the toxins that were in his body, the numbers decreasing so dramatically, that was like, oh, this is why we did this. This is why we did this. And he is living an amazing life now, just a handful of months since the actual organ donation. So that's kind of like just one of the many little nuanced moments from that big thing.
Yeah, what an awesome experience, and thank you for advocating about it.
I love that. I love
that. Awesome. We love to hear it.
Glad
Glad you're both doing well.
Glad to do it.
Yes. Okay, so I think we got some people have joined the game. So let's get this thing started. We'll have Jen start it up. And bear with me because I'm going to kind of we'll read the questions along with you guys.
Yep.
So it looks like it's loading.
Mm-hmm.
And hopefully you guys know all the answers already because you visited community code.
Okay.
All right. You know what? I don't have the questions in front of me.
What type of tiger lives at John Ball Zoo?
Oh, I know this one.
We might be doing this a community effort.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna let you go here.
Yeah.
And
I've got this. No problem. This is new. This is an Eric problem.
How many lives can one cornea and tissue donor potentially improve?
Did you hear that? How many lives can one cornea and tissue donor potentially improve?
I know.
Of course you know. Yes. Oh, no, don't drop it. Look at that. All right.
Wow.
So I don't know where to go. Oh, there you go. Okay, there you go. I'm on board.
Okay. We're ready for the next one.
Yes. I see a scoreboard. I see Amy is dominating. Okay.
There's
Good.
still time for me to catch up, though, I think.
All right. You want this one?
You take it.
What organ is the most needed and most commonly transplanted?
Ooh. Let's see here.
Got 10 seconds. And I'll be able to see the right answers too, right? If I look at them?
You'll know. I'll tell you.
Because I'm all nervous right now. You might not
No.
notice it.
I just totally threw you into this, didn't I?
Very
You're doing a
concerned
great job
that I'm going
running
to say
with
a
it.
nasty word. A kidney.
It's a kidney.
So,
Yeah, so by far, let me just quickly say, I would say about 80% of people on the waiting list for an organ transplant are waiting for a kidney transplant.
Oh my gosh.
So that's why people like you
It's scary.
are amazing.
I know, but it's just it's actually scares me that so many people are waiting.
Uh,
It's unbelievable.
yeah,
All right, there's
kidney
got to be a way to
disease.
see who.
Oh.
Look at the tote board.
Okay,
Oh,
so
next time,
what makes a
flamingo's feathers pink? I'm so sorry. What makes
The
a
wheels are
flamingo's
falling off.
feathers pink? All right, get your answers in. I don't know. I can't. I will guess the sun. The food they eat, of course, the sun.
The food they eat. Yes, they eat lots of shrimp and
All right.
crustaceans. All right, we got Pepper in the lead now.
Yeah, she's taking the lead over Amy. Amy's furious about that new
Oh,
development.
here I come.
Okay, here we go. This is yours.
True or false? You guys should know this. Tigers live in large packs in the wild. True or false?
I don't want to speculate.
Well, if you watch the Tiger Safari, you would definitely know the
Oh,
answer to this question.
Covered that. See?
Mhm.
Pays
Were you
pay
not
attention.
watching?
No.
Or, oh, okay.
I was sweating.
Okay. I was too.
I did.
False.
There you go.
Tigers are solitary animals. They live alone. Okay, let's see where we stand now.
Pepper and
Amy's
Amy.
coming back.
Oh, look at that. What happened to Pepper? Oh, she dropped 2.
Oh, Pepper.
Gosh.
We got another true or false. You take
Yes.
this one.
True or false? Porcupines can shoot their quills. Okay.
Have you heard this before? I hear people say this. Is this true or is this just like an urban legend? A myth?
Yeah, I don't want to say because I don't want to give anybody an advantage. But I would say, if I were guessing, I would say that they cannot. And that's exactly
Look
right.
at
They
everybody
cannot.
thought that they could. Most people guess that that's true. It's
Oh.
false. They cannot shoot their
Oh, I
quills.
didn't know you could see that. Oh, yeah, 12. 12 of you said, well, okay, there you go.
Yep.
There you
All
go.
right.
And
Amy maintains the lead.
yes, but Pepper has now closed the gap a little bit. She's
Look
only
at
down.
I'm on fire.
She's less than 300 back. I didn't know you even know you were playing.
Yep,
Yes, you're
playing right along there.
Okay. This
I'm
one-
not sure if
this
that's
one's
fair,
yours.
but all right, true or false? Anyone can register to be an organ, eye, and tissue donor. Organ, tissue, and eye donor. True or false? You should all know this. You should all know this one. I want to see the correct answer all the way across the board.
All right.
We are awaiting the results.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, I was right. Yes, anybody, regardless of age, medical status, anybody can join the organ donor registry.
All of you got that right. So we won't see a change in the leaderboard. Amy's still with the lead.
So I'm not going to claim any
Yeah, wait a
victory
minute.
in this game.
Allison is now in the lead.
Yes.
So she's obviously giving herself more points and causing, she's patting it. That's what she's doing. Okay, let's go to the next one.
When you know, you know. Okay.
Allison is cheating.
Okay. Meerkats primarily eat what? Is it insects, plants, meat, or seeds? I'm going to turn on.
I would say seeds. Wasn't
What is it?
Pumbaa and Timon? Wasn't Timon a meerkat?
Yes.
No. Was he?
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah, so
look at
I-
that. That was seeds.
Oh, he will. I'm just trying to catch up to the others.
Oh, it was spread out evenly.
Oh, so it's actually insects.
Oh, it is?
I must have clicked the wrong correct answer for that one.
Oh, this whole look at that. You see what just happened? Oh yeah, right.
Wow, this is going swimmingly
No,
right
it's
now.
good. It's good. It's fun.
Don't
This
worry.
is the best
don't
part
worry.
of the whole show.
Yeah, it is.
All right,
By
let's go to
far.
the next one here.
The part where the wheels fall off. I'm telling you.
True or
okay.
false? Oh, sorry. True or false? In relation to their body size, Toko toucans have the longest beak in the animal kingdom. Sorry.
True or false?
They're right over there, by the way, here at the zoo.
They're beauties.
fantastic. The Fruit Loops bird is right there.
So we originally thought that we were going to be going on a safari with some of these animals I'm asking you questions about. So these are all just going to be guesses at this point. If we'd gone on that safari, you would have known the answers for sure.
My fault. All my
No,
fault.
no, it's not at all. So it is true. They do, in relation to their body size, they have the biggest beak of any bird in the animal kingdom.
Okay. Excellent. Minus.
How am I
Okay,
still in the
Pepper.
lead? Okay.
I don't know. I think because you did all these answers ahead of time. Pepper, though, is your leader with Amy
Yes,
right behind.
Pepper, Amy, Grace, Julia.
I think this is it,
You're on
right?
the
This
board.
is the last one.
It's for all the marbles.
What is the best way to register to be an organ, eye, and tissue donor? Okay. What is the best way to register to be an organ, eye, and tissue donor? By the way, you get a star on your forehead, Jen.
You do.
Because we were like so dying up here before.
We're getting, as the day goes on, we're getting better at improvising.
Yes, we're
Yeah.
like just a hot comedy duo.
Yeah, it's really just
really hot. I mean, like hot.
at this point. Okay. One of you got that wrong. Everybody else got it right.
Yep.
It is all of the, we won't judge. We won't be too, it is
Okay.
all of the above. You can
You
sign
say
up
so.
at the Secretary of State's office. You can sign up through the Secretary of State's website, and you can sign up on Gift of Life Michigan website, golm.org.
Okay.
All right.
see. Check the,
so let's see
scoreboard
who
here.
our winners are. In third place, we have me, which we'll just knock that out. That's not fair.
We're good for
Pepper, you're in second. I'll let you announce.
No,
the
I'm
grand-
sorry.
No,
We're-
this is all
this
you.
is stupid that I'm stepping all over you. I'm so sorry.
No, no.
Amy, congratulations.
Amy, you won. The game board doesn't show us who's in fourth place. We'll make some adjustments on that. I'll remove my name from the mix, and we will reach out to you guys and let you know if you were the third and fourth place winners, and we'll get you your prizes.
Wow.
Thanks for being with us. That was kind of a
No,
struggle,
I thought it
wasn't
was great. Are you kidding me? Whenever you have that type of like, I'm like turning my back to the camera. I'm looking over here.
Yeah,
That's
we're
the
just,
best part.
We're just running with it at this point, right? So, okay, all right. The next thing that we're going to do is we're going to have Jen help us move forward
Yeah.
in the program
There you
here.
go. Move us along there, Jen. Thank you so much.
Okay, guys, thank you truly for bearing with us. We have come to the end of our event today, and we do want to close on a more serious note. We have a tribute to those who have both given and received the gifts of life, sight, and mobility. So please join us as we honor these very special heroes and legends with the Celebration of Life Trail Show. That was absolutely amazing. Thank you to everybody who submitted a slide for that.
I think it was easily the best part of the event right there. Absolutely stunning.
I totally agree. I always love to watch that. Thank you all for joining us today for our virtual zoo adventure. I hope you were as inspired as we are, at least highly entertained. Oh, yeah. So if you aren't already involved with Gift of Life Michigan on some level, we encourage you to visit our website at golm.org so you can learn about all the different ways you can support our mission of honoring life through donation. We always need volunteers to share their stories. And we, if you're not ready to volunteer yet, you could contribute with a financial donation to the Gift of Life Foundation. But as we've been saying, perhaps the easiest thing you can do if you haven't already is to register to be an organ, eye, and tissue donor. It literally takes about a minute to sign up. Just go to the website and click Become a Donor at the top right corner of the page. So after Eric and I sign off, you'll have the opportunity to stop by Community Cove to connect with our awesome community partners again. And hopefully Shalonda will be at the Gift of Life table to speak with you if you want to stop by and say hello to learn more about what we do.
Sounds like great things to me. This has been fun. I'm just blessed to have the opportunity hosting this event with you all today. Allison, thank you so much for inviting me and letting me be part of it.
Thank you. The pleasure is all mine. So we are, as I've said, so grateful to have your support. This was a fun day. It was a learning experience. Thanks for being patient with our technical difficulties. I say let's do this again next year, but how about in person?
Count me in.
Okay. All right, everybody. Thank you again for joining us. Stay safe and stay healthy. And hopefully we'll see you right back here in person at the zoo next year on Saturday, August 13th. Goodbye.
Bye-bye.